Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this video lesson on the causes of World War I. I am Miss Jennifer Blank, and I will be your guide on this journey. So I like to start with memes when I can because, well, maybe I'm dating myself, but they're fun for me. So if you want to pause the video and take a little look at why World War I started this little meme, it's kind of hilarious because World War I, you can trace it back so far. It's not just as simple as, well, the Archduke Ferdinand was killed. It goes way deeper than that, and we're going to explore that in later video lessons. But today, our focus is going to be on the major causes of World War I. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause this video and I want you to create a chart. Now, if you don't want to copy this chart, I have planned for this, and my students, if you go on Google Classroom, okay, you will be able to download a Microsoft Word copy of this chart, okay? But it's really important that as you're going through the rest of the video lessons and the rest of the lessons we're going to do in class, that you have a method of record keeping so we can start to classify different causes, okay? So militarism is up top. That's going to be the first cause. Alliances, imperialism, nationalism. And then these are just some suggestions on the left-hand side here. I strongly recommend you leave in the definition part, okay? But to help you organize and kind of categorize things, I left these suggestions in case you want to use that. But what we have is an acronym, and it is known as MAIN. So that should help you memorize these key causes. So we have militarism, alliances, imperialism, with which we should be intimately familiar, my people, and nationalism finally. Okay, so we're going to talk about all five, wow, Miss Blank can't count, all four of these throughout the rest of this very brief presentation. All right, we're going to start with militarism. So militarism, what is it? It's basically an arms race, all right? You have the various European powers that are imperial powers vying for who can have the most guns and bombs and stuff, okay? So well, Germany got the machine guns, so then France wants a stronger machine gun, and then Europe wants to have 12 machine guns, and so then we have this back and forth, constantly upping the ante to see who can have the most stuff that can blow people up, right? That's basically what it is. Okay, so Great Britain and Germany were actually the major adversaries here, which should not be massively a surprise if you know anything about World War I already. That should be expected at this point. All right, alliances. Alliances, the A in MAIN. So we've got M, now we've got A, alliances. Now this is going to be super fun to talk about because this was like middle school drama. That's what this war was. That's how it started. Middle school drama, because grown men can't control themselves. But anyway, we'll get to that. So this alliance process, this process of forming partnerships and almost like friendships, you could think of it like that. But basically, you've got a country A and country B, and they don't like country C. So they're going to sign a treaty to get together that if country C messes with either one of them, both A and B are going to join forces and take out country C. That's basically what it is. So it starts in the late 19th century, early 20th centuries. That's where this system starts getting going. And this is, I guess, a more official definition, but it's a political and military agreement between European nations. That's what we're looking at. Political and military agreements between European nations. Okay. Now, what was fun about this, or rather not so fun, but, when you think about it. Anyway, secret. A lot of these treaties were made in secret. So country C would have had no idea that country A and country B had a treaty. And had they known, they might not have messed with either country. But since they didn't, they figured, if I'm going to mess with country A, country B is going to stay out of it because they didn't know about the secret treaty. We'll get to that. So, let me move my little guy. Let me move my little box. So these series of public and secret treaties caused massive escalations or increase in these conflicts, okay? So we could have had these public and secret treaties not existed the way that they had. We could have had talks, right? You could have had Germany and Great Britain and France and all these other European countries who were involved come together at the table and say, okay, let's talk about what our issues are and let's work them out. But see, we didn't have that. And because we didn't have that, we decided to kill each other over it. All right, imperialism. Now, okay, this should be massive review. Massive review for all of you. Imperialism, we just said massive review. Okay, so the process of one nation forcing its culture and political, social, and economic ideas onto another country. Total domination, okay, total domination by the stronger country over the weaker country. We should know this. right? So all major European powers were engaged in this to different degrees. Like, we could probably say that Great Britain was pretty top up there in terms of how many countries it controlled. We talked about this, you know, sun never sets on the British Empire, right? Because they had colonies on like every continent. And because of this, when fights broke out, they broke out to defend their colonies. And once the World War started, it spread to the colonies. So this is how you get the World War idea, because the World War I was literally fought over the planet. And the most intense competitors, surprise, surprise, were Great Britain and Germany, and also France and Germany. Okay, so those were the most intense people that you got to pay attention to when you're thinking about imperialism. All right, nationalism. This should be reviewed for you too, but we're going to talk about this in depth in class. So what is nationalism? It's exalting. It's basically elevating or raising one's nation, your personal nation, above all others, okay? And your primary concern is promoting or advancing, furthering, making sure that your ideas, that your culture, that your national interests are number one. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what suffering has to happen or what other bad things might happen to other people. As long as you're number one, you don't care. That's nationalism. And this was a major, major cause of World War I, as we will see. So this usually involves this is a good word, subjugation. It's a nice big SAT word, right? Subjugation means to make subject. Okay, basically, when you're subjugating someone, you're forcing them to be below you in the hierarchy. You are establishing your power over them. So basically, the majority subjugated the minority. And this, of course, let me move my little recording box here off to the side. Okay, this created tension within parent countries and, of course, between their colonies. And we saw this in items like with the Sepoy Rebellion in India, right? We also saw this in the Boxer Rebellion in China. Okay, so you see that some of these subjugated peoples are like, no, you can take your nationalism and you can do you know what with it, and they're fighting back. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, that is the end of our main causes of World War I. I hope you learned what you needed to, and I will see you in the next video.